Hello and welcome to Tuesday Newsday, your #1 resource for the entire week's worth of VR news. This is December 10th, 2019. Sadly, this week there are no big game announcements or game releases. Unfortunately, it's been a slow week and really nothing is happening. Thanks for watching. Thrill out. Wait, it's Tuesday, the 10th. All hands on deck, it's the big day. The game that I have personally been waiting 4 months has been released, and that game is none other than Boneworks, by the handsome crew over at Stress Level Zero, the same guys that have brought us Duck Season and Hover Junker. If you've been living under a VR rock and don't know what Boneworks is, it's a physics-based VR adventure game. And to put the premise very simply, MythOS or Mythos, a VR operating system, is having some major issues, and you're the IT guy. Boneworks and this channel have a long history. In fact, not only was it in my first video I've ever done, but it's also in more of my videos than any other game, even having its own dedicated lore video. So needless to say, I'm excited. The game is set to launch at 10 a.m. PST on the 10th, which is likely right before this video goes live. Prices are at $30 for the base game and $40 for the deluxe edition, which includes the soundtrack of the game, cleverly named Bone Tones. Now, as hyped as I am, I haven't actually played the game yet, which will have changed as you're watching this, but that means I can't say whether or not it's actually amazing or if Boneworks even works. But I do know that I've got some pretty good trust behind the guys making it, and of course I'll be picking it up either way. I will be streaming some of it later today on my Twitch, as well as giving away a few copies of the game on stream, so if you want a chance at getting a sweet Boneworks key, stop by and hang out. Another big VR game did launch this past week, and that was Nostos by NetEase. Nostos is a massively online sandbox adventure game, steering clear of the term MMO in this case at least. This was another game that I have been extremely excited about and have made a point to be around for the alpha and beta testing, and unfortunately it did fail to meet my own personal expectations. I've made an entire video about it if you're interested, but good news is that the developers have been decently fast to fix a few of the performance issues and are adding in Smooth Turn, soon at least. So far, 2 patches have fixed some of the UI issues and a few other game-breaking bugs, which is certainly a good sign that Nostos is on a good path. The reviews on Steam went from mostly negative to mixed recently, which is good and all, but still unsettling as I think Nostos is still a little brokos. But if the pace of these updates doesn't stop and the game continues to improve, then we'll honestly have a really nice game on our end. Another quick game update is Swords of Gargantua, a great looking close quarter combat game that I at least have a little bit of time in, and it received a pretty gigantic update called the Tesseract Abyss. I said I only had a little bit of time in it because I felt like something was missing from the game previously, but this new update may fix that, adding in character leveling, ability point spending, weapon crafting, artifact boosting, essentially item stat boost through consumables, and all of this is available along with the base game for single player and multiplayer play. I know for a fact that I will certainly be giving Swords of Gargantua a second look. Now onto some hardware related stuff. Last week I mentioned that the Oculus Go was the best selling VR headset on Amazon for Black Friday, and that still stands true. My concern's that some people, a small minority of course, will be receiving an Oculus Go for Christmas when what they actually wanted was something more akin to like a Quest or Rift S is still valid. But it's also hard to compare sales figures between a device costing $150 and one costing $400. One thing we can look directly at though is the relative search volume of VR headsets via Google Trends, and the explosion of search volume related to VR and VR hardware is pretty awesome. The Oculus Quest killed it, having a peak search volume of 1.6 times the next most widely searched headset, the PlayStation VR, and almost 3 times higher than the Oculus Rift S. Really, this is just good news all around for the VR crowd. It means that people's eyes are on VR and searching up the headsets, looking at which one may suit them, and potentially getting one themselves. Even better news related to this, or bad news I suppose if you're planning on getting one, the Quest is out of stock almost everywhere. I know locally on Amazon, the Quest is listed to be back in stock on December 24th, which may just be a little too late if you're trying to get one by Christmas. I've said it before, there's a lot riding on this holiday season for the VR industry as a whole. After the smoke clears and if tons of headsets were sold, the entire industry could get that nice boost of players, income, and usher in that new wave of VR enthusiasts that we've been waiting on. Even if not as many HMDs were sold as I predict, it doesn't necessarily mean anything terrible for VR, but if numbers are good, VR's growth will certainly feel accelerated. More people in VR means more games sold and more games made. And before I get into the so-called VR godship by Qualcomm, can I get a me, So this is nowhere close to being new news, but due to enough people asking if I've seen it, I'm going to talk about it anyways, and demystify the mysterious VR cows. Get ready to enter the mood tricks. So according to the Moscow Times and Moscow Ministry of Agriculture and Food, these Russian farmers are putting VR headsets on cows. This is apparently to improve the cow's mood with the end goal of increasing the milk productivity of said cow. The idea being that given a more stimulating or pleasing environment to look at, the animals will, in theory, have an overall better state of mind and well-being. Obviously, this comes with some challenges. VR headsets are set up for human eye distances and heads, so these HMDs obviously had to be heavily adapted to fit a cow's IPD and focal range. I just kind of imagine that these cows are forever stuck in the Windows XP wallpaper background, grazing green grass and appreciating the blue sky. Obviously, I'm skeptical. No specific specs on these headsets were talked about, and no review notes were sent so I could try it out on my own cow, see how she likes it. But maybe, just maybe, these new headsets are rocking the new Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 5G, which brings us back right into the news. Currently, the best-selling standalone VR headsets are rocking Qualcomm mobile processors like the Snapdragon 835 in the Quest and 821 in the Oculus Go. The previous chip, the XR1, is seen in a few other standalone headsets, but is generally marketed for more media viewing experiences. The newest chip from Qualcomm, however, named the XR2 5G, offers significantly more horsepower than previous offerings. This right here is a graph showing the performance increase from the Snapdragon 835 in terms of VR performance. Now, of course, this is extremely impressive, but if you've been in the hardware game for any period of time, at least talking PC-related hardware, you'll know that crazy numbers like 60% performance gain over last year's model are thrown out all the time, when in reality you're talking about a usual 15% year-over-year boost. This, however, might be a slightly different case regarding the XR2. The chip is specifically designed to handle VR and AR applications and is tailored to fit those use cases. There is one claim that I think needs some clarification though. I see a lot of people getting extremely hyped right now over the 3K by 3K at 90Hz support from the XR2. And I think we all need to come back to earth on this one. Just because the XR2 supports that resolution at that refresh rate doesn't mean that games can be rendered at that resolution and frame rate. All I'm saying is don't be expecting to play Boneworks on an XR2 chip at a 3K resolution at 90Hz on a standalone headset, which, believe it or not, is the sentiment that I have been seen thrown around. Regardless, this is still extremely exciting. There are a few companies in the XR landscape, AR and VR, that I wonder where we would be or what we would do without them, and Qualcomm is one of them. They've been pushing mobile VR and supporting the industry from the very beginning. Also, they noted that the HMDs using the XR2 will be available in Q2 2020. Does this mean that we'll get some real competition to the Quest announced soon, or even something as far-fetched as a Quest 2 or a Quest Pro? I don't know, but the possibility is enticing. Plus, I'll also mention that the XR2 supports up to 7 tracking cameras, compared to the previous support of only 4, which is likely the reason why the Quest itself only has 4 cameras. And I gotta be honest, with seeing how good the tracking can be on the Quest, something like 4 cameras may be all we need, which leave 3 cameras up for grabs for other things like maybe full body tracking? Look, that's total speculation and basically a pipe dream, but I think it's alright to entertain some pipe dreams. One last thing related to the Quest, or actually 2 I suppose. The Climb has been released for the Quest. It works well, looks pretty alright for a Quest game, but even more important is the release of the hand tracking update. Now, I think we're all under the impression that the hand tracking beta wasn't coming until early 2020, but I guess Oculus wanted to drop an update to sell even more sold out Quests. Either way, the update should be coming to your Quests soon. At the time of this video, the update actually hasn't been pushed to mine personally, or others that I've spoken to, and as of now, the PTR is not compatible with the Quest link. You have to be on the normal software update, so you may have to choose which one you want to do at this time. I'm super eager to get my hands on the hands update, but we'll have to see if it actually improved much since I tested it out at Oculus Connect 6. When I did test it out there were a lot of occlusion issues, and the actual FOV of using the hand track space was pretty small. But at least the occlusion problems can be fixed with future updates with software improvements. The small FOV is due to all 4 cameras needing to see the hands at all times. Supported apps are as listed: Oculus Browser, Oculus TV, and the Guardian setup. So yeah, a pretty small list of pretty much many navigation-only applications, but we'll see it grow, I'm sure. Steam VR received a pretty decent update with the most recent beta, not only improving the look of the user interface, but also offering new features like being able to change the refresh rate of your index without restarting Steam VR. This is a pretty nice quality of life change, as changing refresh rate was a bit of a pain before. This now saves me just a little bit of time, and as they say, time is money. Oculus Medium has been purchased by Adobe. If you don't know what Oculus Medium is, it's a pretty advanced sculpting software for VR that has been used by countless artists to create some pretty amazing work. I'll say as well, the application isn't just limited to art, it's also been used to create high quality work for automotive manufacturers as well as other applications. It's pretty much turned into a professional VR application at this point, which makes sense why it's a good fit for the Adobe suite. I personally use Adobe software as well as Oculus Medium, so I'm definitely excited to see where Adobe takes Medium in the future. And now the segment that you've all been waiting for, or at least the people that have made it this far in the video. Question of the week. What's your idea of the perfect VR headset? By Evan DeGreat. Well, in some ways, the Valve Index is everything I like about a headset in terms of current tech. It's comfortable, has good audio, pretty good clarity, has finger track controllers that are similarly comfortable, and it's versatile enough that I could use something like full body tracking. It's far from the perfect headset though. Of course, if I were to go way sci-fi with it, I'd like VR to eventually take the form of Black Mirror. I put a device on my temple and I'm in. Like, literally, I'm in. But those are some far-fetched goals. In actually attainable technology, I'd like something as comfortable as the Index with good audio, a good mic like the Index already has, but far lighter and less bulky as well as wireless. I think in an ideal world, we move towards full-body tracking as being the bog standard within VR. Also, I'd like some eye tracking. I've seen some really cool implementations in things like Neos. So yeah, a lighter, wireless, wider field of view, full-body tracking, and eye tracking capable Index. Those are the dreams. Make sure to submit your own questions of the week below. They can almost be about anything, and I might just pick yours next. Don't forget, Boneworks keys giveaway on Twitch today. If you want updates on the time of the stream and future streams, my Discord server is a great place for that, so join on up. And I want to say thank you to everyone that you see here for being an amazing Patreon supporter, especially our Omega supporters like Skeleto. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love. Thrill out.